Welcome to Strategize Your Business Online, the live for entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking for a dose of business inspo and ideas to grow your business in the online space. My name is Dee Boswell-Buck, and I am the digital marketing strategist behind Boswell-Buck Creative Consulting. And what we do is we help you to connect with your ideal clients in the online space with strategy. So, welcome to the show. And if you are watching this live or if you are watching the replay, I would love if you could just put into the comments who you are. What is it that you do? Of course, the name of your company and where it is that we can find you online. Of course, if you're watching it on LinkedIn, we will know. But where else can we find you online in terms of your social media? And I think one more question I forgot to ask is how is it that you help your dream clients? Now, we are going to start this episode of Strategize Your Business Online. I'm really excited. I have an amazing guest on the show today, and I'm going to read her bio. So, Hannah Taylor is a mortgage broker in Ajax, Ontario, Canada, and her passion is helping people achieve their short and long term mortgage goals. It is about more than just the rate, though she does have her clients covered in that area too. Now, Hannah's been doing this for over 20 years now, and she still can't get enough. With her team alongside her, she'll tackle even the hardest cases with a smile on her face and a joke to brighten the mood. Hannah, thank you so much for being on Strategize Your Business Online. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dee. This is amazing.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thank you. Now, before we get into it a bit more, I want to say, like, I always do a little bit of investigation, a bit of digging on my clients. And I would love to congratulate you, Hannah. I just discovered before we got on that you and your team have been voted for the Diamond Tier winner of the Reader's Choice Awards for Ajax Pickering. And folks, it is 6 years in a row. Congratulations, Hannah.
Thank you. We are so honored. We have just the best community, and that they keep depending on us and trusting us is just such an honor. So thank you.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Well, Hannah, if we could start, if you could share with us, like, what is it that you do?
So obviously I'm a mortgage agent, but my goal is really larger than just closing mortgages. It's a cause really near and dear to my heart to help my clients attain that dream of home ownership. But especially in this market, it's been a tough year and a half, is to help my clients keep their home and prioritize their finances and help out there. My big goal, and I'll touch on this a few times, is I never ever want someone to leave my office feeling declined. Never,
Mm,
ever. I'll give them all the tips and advice and then walk by their side until they achieve that goal.
right. And so have you had, I don't know if this is a silly question, but have you had more people reaching out to you with everything that has been going on in the market?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So I would say probably about half of my calls are just, what I say, taking temperature. So what can I qualify for? My renewals next year, what am I going to be looking for? Like just taking stock of their own situation so we can make plans. It always helps chatting sooner to have the time to put those plans into motion than last minute when we have no options left, right? So yeah, a lot of my calls are just helping put people at ease right now.
I'm curious to know, like the Bank of Canada, I think they're going to have another interest rate, like they're going to let us know. Is that October 20th-ish?
Yeah,
And
next one's coming up October. Yep.
okay, do you get a lot of calls like before, or do you get like more calls like after the announcement?
A little bit of both. I would say we get some calls leading up to, like from our variable rate clients, should they lock in and what are their options? And then a lot of calls and emails the day of the meeting and the day after. So that's why, much to your chat earlier, we try to get the information out to everybody as soon as possible. What the Bank of Canada did, what they're predicting, what this means for them.
Okay. Well, yes, we're definitely going to chat a little bit more about how it is that you get the news out because everyone, like, you're going to see, I'm going to give her a little bit of a cheer or a, like, oh, she is just so awesome when she comes to her marketing. But Hannah, if you can let me know, like, tell us about your journey to having this company of yours.
Okay, well, it was funny because my brain went on two tangents here. I my immediate tangent was to my immediate goal was to quit my job, my job, and be with my kids more. So my oldest, my son was starting JK, and I was on maternity leave with my second, my daughter. And I couldn't picture being a GO train right away. I'm in Durham, and my job was downtown Toronto, and I couldn't be picture being that far away from them. So I figured I'd quit my job and build this business to have more time with them. But now it's become so much more than that. Like I really have this honor of helping people purchase their largest asset, and they trust me, and I've got, as you said, a lot of years, just over 22 years now, experience doing this. So that I get to give back to my community there has fulfilled me in ways I couldn't even imagine. But then to add to that, I mean, I get to be at all the school assemblies, the Terry Fox Run, Jump Rope for Heart. I just nip out of the office. They're 2 minutes down the road, and then I get right back to mortgages. So, and more recently, my son, who's now in grade 8, that's how long it's been,
Ooh.
he has started talking about taking over the business. So that's
Mhm.
that's been just such an honor because I'm creating something to leave to him. But if I go back even further than that, and you and I chatted about this before, was um, I'm an immigrant to Canada. I was born in England, so I would say about 5 to 7 years after we moved here as a child, we lost our family home, and that, I mean, I keep going back to, like, if my parents had someone like me at that time, would we have lost our home? And so I want to make sure I'm giving everybody all the options and all the advice, free advice. I'll tell you like it is. I'll tell you which one's going to be your best offer and your best deal. But ironically, about 7 years after we lost our home, I started in the mortgage industry. Like, it was so quick after that. So I think there's a reason I'm on this path.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, going back to when you said that you just didn't want to take the GO train anymore, so
Yes.
you quit your job. So it kind of sounds very, very easy. Like you're
Oh,
on
yeah.
the GO train, you're watching the things go by, there's that, and yeah, this isn't for me anymore. So was the journey easy?
No, you're so right. The decision was easy. My kids are my world, and now I've got 3 babies, and I would do anything for them. But the journey was not easy. That first year was rough, rough. I remember actually,
Mhm.
like, my first anniversary when people celebrate milestones in their business. I'm 1 years old. I'm 2 years old. That one year, I was like, I was a mess. I think I was just an absolute mess. But ironically, that's the exact same time I found my business coach, and I've had her almost 8 years now, and I've never let her go. So definitely surrounding myself with a village of like-minded people, like you and I, like my coach, like our networking community. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys.
Wow, that's amazing. And I've done business and continue to do business with you. And I love hearing your journey. And I'm just going to just quickly throw in a little bit of my journey where it was like 20, I think it was 2017. And I went to this networking event. Um, so there's somebody on Facebook who said, just answer this question. And it was just somebody who goes to the event and she had a free ticket. And I met the same business coach. And but when I walked into this room, I was like, oh my goodness, look at all of these women who own a business, right? And I remember going home and saying to my husband, like, that's just what I want to do. And fast forward a couple of months later, because I would take a vacation day or cough, cough, call in sick and go to these monthly networking events. And I remembered, like, I had finalized the decision. I had reached out to the business coach. I'm going to say her name, like her name, Claudine Piera. And I reached out to her. And then I saw you and I was like, we have a home. And I know I want to leave my job. I wonder how Hannah, who does mortgages, can help me. So, this is thinking a little bit differently. I remembered I approached you, I booked an appointment. And at the time, folks, like Hannah has a pretty large office right now, and she has a team with her. So I went to her office, and it was a room without a window, a room
Yeah.
without a view. And yeah, you help me, think of like different ways of, using the money and the equity and things that we have. So, and I wanted to do that so there would not be an excuse for me to not leave my job. So thank you so much. But I just wanted to share that that was just something different. Yeah.
You're welcome. And that's such a good point. And Dee, you're so smart. I will cheer for you there because that's the time when you want to do a mortgage approval is when you still have a job. That's the easiest way to
Mm,
get a mortgage is a job letter and a pay stub, right? So for anybody that's planning to quit their job or planning to retire, have a change in income, now's the time when we can look at the size of your mortgage payment, any other debt we want to consolidate, anything you want to do when you have the job is the easiest time for the approval.
yeah. So, like I shared one of the ways that you had helped me, and I was curious to know, like, what are the other ways that you help your clients that people would never even think of?
Well, it's funny you say that. I was thinking through this, and um, I'm more of in I do these discovery calls like when a new client comes to us saying, I think I want to do this. I have this half an hour chat with them. And that half an hour chat is all coaching and education. I find out where they are, I find out where they want to go, then we start going through documents and an application and we see how they get there. So I feel like again, to relate it back to a bank, you need to do all the research. You need to know what it takes to be approved, and you need to go in and you need to be approved. And if you're declined, you
Mhm.
really have no idea what just happened or
Yeah.
why I'm declined. So with me, it's like, okay, here's what the lender's going to look at. Here's where we're at now. This is what we need to work on. And then I walk hand in hand with them until we get to that goal. I can't imagine. And do you know this as a business owner? We are experts in our field. We cannot be experts in everywhere. So I can't imagine somebody not starting the mortgage approval journey because they don't know what they don't know. Like that's my job. I'm here to help. So I think what I do differently or what maybe clients wouldn't expect is it's not just a financial transaction for me. I'm here to help with a smile on my face, holding your hand, walking you through all the steps so you know how to get to that goal, whether it's now your mortgage is closing now or whether it's a plan we're making for 6-12 months down the road. So the planning and education piece is something I do that I don't think many people do.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you just added that last sentence because I wanted to ask you, like you have people reaching out, maybe they're first time homeowners, they're shopping around for a mortgage. And I mean, so in my field, there are a lot of people who do marketing. And I remember going to a networking event one evening, and the person didn't know I was going to be the speaker. And, I introduced myself to him, and we are just chatting, eating some hors d'oeuvres. And he's like, "What is it that you do?" And I said, "I do digital marketing." And he said, "Huh, another digital marketer, right?" Yeah, he did. And then when I started speaking, he was like, "I wanted to know because, yeah, how is it that you stand out in this field?"
Yeah, and that's a really good point because I think now, like a lot of even fellow mortgage agents, they don't work with anyone unless there's like a transaction to be had, a purchase already done, a mortgage happening. But I always think, and my favorite Zig Ziglar quote: if you help enough people get what they want, you'll be looked after. So if I keep giving back my strength and expertise to the community, so in this planning, in this education, then the community as a whole is better and me and my family are looked after, right?
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, I titled my team and I were actually my social media coordinator. So my name is Dee, my full name is Denise, and my social media coordinator, her name is Denise. And so I reached out to have you on the show, and she came up with this amazing title, and I want to lead into it. So Denise, I'm giving you a shout out. Passing the baton, how to build and hand off a legacy. So, Hannah, I would love to know, like, with your business, how is it that you are creating a legacy, and why is it important to you?
That's a great question. So as a business owner, I always wanted to create an asset. So I did a lot of studying of finances growing up and in my early 20s. And so I didn't want to just create a full-time job, or I joke, two full-time jobs, because that's how many hours a week we work sometimes. I wanted
Mhm.
to create a difference in the world, something I could either sell later, an asset I could sell, or a business I could hand down to my children. So how do I do that? How do I do that in my everyday? Um, I I want Mortgages with Hannah, the name, to be something in my community, to mean something. I want to make a difference in my community. I want that name to be associated with great service, kindness, education, all those things we've been touching on. But more than that, I want someone my community can trust. Because when I think about legacy, I immediately think of something I can give to my children, or something I can pass down to my children so that they would be proud of mommy, right? And so I
Yeah.
think that if I can pass along this amazing business that gave back to the community and that the community trusts, that's my job is done. I'm happy.
Right. And so your son, you said that he's interested, right? So
Yeah.
um, does he help you at all with your business? I mean, not he doesn't have access to client files, but how has he gotten interested in it? And do you ever have him kind of assist you, or take your child to work day or anything like that?
I love that. That's such a great idea. So when he starts grade 9 next year, he'll be here for the summer, I guarantee you. But no, I'm always talking about mortgages. I'm always raving about my clients. I have the world's best clients. Like, obviously you attract like-minded people, so I have the best clients. So my son's just always hearing about that, and he's hearing how happy I am going to work and coming home from work. I mean, it's not a job that I hate. It's not all Mondays back here again. I love doing what I do. And I think that's what he gets at home every morning and every night.
Yeah, lovely. And then one of the options are that you spoke about is that possibly selling your business. So, what do you look at in terms of systems? Because I would think that if you could possibly, so it's either going to be passed on to your children, or, if it was going to be sold, it needs to be efficient. Everything needs to work, effectively. What are some of those things that you do, and do you ever have like that big picture mindset, like by doing this thing today, or by doing this thing within this month, this is going to benefit the business, whether my children purchase it or whether no, purchase it. Sorry, whether my children take it over. I hope your son's not watching this. Whether your children take it over or perhaps you sell it.
Well, that was interesting, an interesting slip there, because I think as a business owner, either way, whether I sell it or my son inherits it, I will stay on in some kind of salaried sense would be my goal. So it's interesting you said that. But
Yeah.
yes, every day I actually have calendar blocks on my time for what I call CEO time. So I take off
Ooh.
any other hat that I wear in the business. And in this time, I'm working on the business. And you know how hard that is as a business owner. I mean, if clients need me, I'm there. But these few blocks a week, I am working on the business, and I'm constantly creating systems and processes and automating things. And I would say, if we automated this, would this enhance our customer process? Because I never want automation to feel robotic. I never want my automations or my systems to take away from the customer experience. I only want to enhance it. So I want and I want my clients to get the same feel and the same voice and the same education, whether they're talking to me or Miranda or Dylan, who or whoever on the team. So that's one thing, is how can I automate this? And the other thing is this something we can add to our standard operating procedures? So we have a massive document,
Mm.
massive, everything start to finish, from all the silly jargon we use in the mortgage industry to all the names of our lenders to everything. And so whenever we go, oh, this is the norm and this is the exception, we document both those things and we add them to our standard operating procedures. You probably think back to when you started your business. If someone handed you a list of automated processes and a standard operating procedures, you'd be like, okay, I just need to read this. It's done. It's almost like my book of how to run this business. That's what I'm creating daily. And you're always adding to it. It's a live document. It's never going to be done, right? But that's what we work on daily. Yeah.
Right. And I love that. I noticed that you keep on saying we. So when it comes to like creating these SOPs or the ideas that are flowing or the automation, like is it all you? Like this is my idea and everyone just run with it? Or would you say that it's very team like you've got everybody in on that?
Well, it's very team-like. So number one, if it's in Dylan or Miranda's role to do that function, I want them to document it. That's one way they're going to learn it, right? And they're going to write it in language that makes sense to them. But also, um, I want, like I said, I want the team bought in on the mission, and they're all here because we have similar values and we treat customers the same way. So that they have a say in the process. So as you mentioned, I've been doing mortgages my whole life. I could do it in my sleep. So my brain thinks differently than Miranda, who has been a part of the team for 2 years, but 2 years compared to 22, she's like, oh, I need this to happen next in my process. So we add to the processes or we create an automation to make sure that that next closing goes smoothly. So I love getting their feedback to just make the journey better for everyone.
Right. When it comes to your automation, would you say that like well, I mean everything is very smooth, but do you ever have like those either shiny objects or there is something out there that makes things better? Do you find that to be a bit of a challenge to move over that automation? Because I wonder, does that ripple and affect everything else?
Well, it's funny you say that. So we switched CRMs last summer. And I had been building and working on the new one for a few months before that. But with our new CRM, it's a spin-off of Salesforce, which is a beast when it comes to CRM.
Yeah.
We've got a lady who's a certified Salesforce specialist, so she can make any changes I want to Salesforce. So when we have an idea now, and I am a C-type personality and I do like perfection, so I have to get over that myself. But when we have an idea, instead of me compiling a big list, I send her a quick email. I say, can you add this task when we do this? Can you automate this email? And she does things on a one-off all week long for us. And it's amazing. So it's instant. Our thought process, and when we think about how to make something better or more efficient for a client, we implement it right away.
That is amazing. And it's a really great reminder that if we want to be efficient in our business, it's really great to stay in our zone of genius, right? Um, Instead of you trying to like figure it out and where it is that you're going to plug it in, it's more valuable for you to reach out to somebody who can actually get it done a lot faster. That's great.
Yeah.
Something to remember. Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny, much to that point is we all as business owners have access to the same information, but I think the people that are going to propel forward to the next level are the people that take action. So changing these things and making these small changes every day is what's going to make separate us from the crowd, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And so going back to the fact that the Bank of Canada is going to, or not, so, but they're going to make an announcement and they do this like, I guess, every single month. I just want to give you kudos because I watch things. Well, I'm very interested because whether you're a homeowner or not, you want to know about those interest rates
Mm-hmm.
because it affects like what it is that you have on your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
It affects like your home and things like that. And these rates could go up, and if they do go up, it's not that the income that we are bringing in is going up with it at the same time. Not to mention the price of groceries, etc. And so, I mean, I just love how you keep everyone informed and from a marketing eye. So I would highly recommend that. And anyone who's watching this, um, I hope you don't mind me saying this, like get on your newsletter because like whether it's the Bank of Canada or anything else, you're quick to share information. And things that I remember, for instance, is oh, so the newsletter comes out, or maybe a newsletter comes out the day before, and then or a newsletter comes out like the day of. And I've even seen Hannah where you have like something up on social media, like a video, like it's something right away. And actually, I believe that in a newsletter or two, so at least I'm reading your newsletters. In your newsletter, I think you had like a video already.
Yeah.
It was like you're just ready to jump on that. And is that hard to organize?
No, but it takes a mindful a mindful thought, right? So we, my team and I, we meet daily about our priorities for that day and for the next week. And I've already got plugged in for the year, the Bank of Canada meetings. So we know when they're coming. The week before, we start making a plan. We start listening to the economists in the industry. Do we think it's staying the same? Do you think it's going up quarter of a point? And we start preparing our marketing on one or two streams, right? And so this is if it goes up, this if it stays still. And we're just gathering information for that week before. So when the Bank of Canada meeting happens at 10 a.m., by lunchtime, we've got a newsletter out and a social media post out, because again, we want to position ourselves as the experts in our community, and we want people to trust us and be able to come to us. And so much to your point, we have a lot of people going, I've got that newsletter in my inbox. I'm going to go check our Instagram. What was the latest update? They know to look for it. They know we're going to be there for them, right? So that's important to us. I'm glad you noticed that.
Oh, I noticed, and I'm glad you mentioned the time because it'll be announced at 10, and then I'm checking my email. I'm like, Hannah, so I haven't even opened it yet. I know that I'm going to get to it later,
Yeah.
but again, I think that it's so genius the way that you're very quick,
Mhm.
and I'm glad that we got a little bit of an inside scoop, and I hope that what a lot of people are hearing is that you're doing a lot of this stuff consistently.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're doing it consistently. It sounds like it definitely takes a village. It takes your team to help
Yeah.
and everybody to have input.
Yeah.
There's also that discussion about like what streams is this going to be shown on. So it's really well thought out. And it's definitely something that anyone who has a business should think of. Like, you don't have to be on multiple platforms, but you definitely have to show up and be very knowledgeable about what's happening, and don't be afraid to stand out and talk about it, to be that
Mhm.
thought leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of like you showing up, I'm curious, Hannah, and again, this is definitely about like learning about other businesses that I admire and whatnot. But because I do marketing, I have to ask the marketing questions, Hannah. So, what social media platforms does your business focus on?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, but all for various reasons. So I feel like from we're in Ajax, Ontario, so I feel like we reach more clients and local business owners, like people we've met through networking. They're all on Facebook, and then we have some clients on Instagram, but mostly other mortgage agents. Funny enough, on Instagram, and then on LinkedIn, we've got a lot of business contacts, like private lenders, which find us, and our lender account managers and things like that. So more from the lender point of view, we have on LinkedIn, but those are the three that we post to and that we interact with.
Thank you for sharing. Because I always tell everyone to it's not always about where you're comfortable when it comes to social media, but where are your clients? And then I love the way that you talk about the different buckets, right?
Yeah.
You have so a lot of people are like, Facebook. And but so I mean, I'm pretty active on my personal Facebook, and then I've got the Dee Boswell-Buck, the business Facebook page. And to myself, I'll be like, I don't know. I mean, I really find joy. I'm like, my audience is definitely on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And I think I'll give Facebook a bit of a break. And then for my contact form, if anybody fills it out, I ask, like, where is it that you found out about us? And they're ticking off Facebook too.
Facebook,
So
yeah.
now it's like, team, hold the presses. We got to go to Facebook too, because you have to show up where your audience is.
Yeah.
But again, you are taking a look at like this type of audience is more so on this platform. We see a lot of people who are in our industry on this platform, and then we have others on another platform that you meet at networking events and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So that would
Mm-hmm.
be a great lesson right there.
Yeah.
And what types of content do you enjoy doing more?
So we do, we being Dylan is our social media person, we try to do a few posts a week, and they go out to all three platforms. We try to do a story a day, and the stories are generally sharing about our favorite business owners, local business owners, or like an insight to a day in the office. Like Miranda's a big tea drinker and she loves plants. So we have a lot of plants around here. We take pictures of it and just things like that, right? Just to share a bit about the humans behind the business. So our big thing with online is this is who you're going to be speaking with when you call the office. So putting a name to the face. And then we try to do reels. Our goal is once a week. We don't always get to that goal, but I feel like that's where we really show our sense of humor and who we really are. The reels are really fun for us.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. And like, so I said, there's Dee and there's Denise. So I'm Denise, and I'm Denise. I'm Denise before my daughter goes to school, right?
Yes.
Like, we'll get the harness on the dog. We get there on time. And then after the dog walk, I'm Dee. And then my daughter goes to bed, then the Denise cat goes on. So I'm Dee for that big period of time. What I'm trying to say is that I really compartmentalize my time on social. So while I'm Dee, I'm pretty much using it only for business. But Hannah, when those reels come up, like I'm really good at saying, I'll come back to this later. And even like somebody will have a birthday and I'm like, no, this is Dee time. So I can't wish them happy birthday. And I'll go and I might wish them happy birthday a couple of days later. But the reels are pretty funny and kind of silly. They're so silly. Not so silly, but sometimes they're silly. I'm like and then I'm thinking like, oh darn, I watched it like in Dee time. So I highly recommend, if anyone's following you or check out Hannah's Instagram and like, check out those reels. We hope to see more of them, but they're pretty funny, very informative often as well. But it's a great way to show that your business and your team, they're very approachable. So
They
very
are.
good.
That's us. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hannah, do you have any promos coming up?
Well, not promos per se, but we're doing a couple of exciting webinars. So this week we have a webinar speaking to reverse mortgages and all the myths and all the questions about that. And next month, I'm excited. We've got our local financial planner, Sunny Wishart, who's amazing. She's going to be speaking about families and budgeting during this time, this really tough time that we're all going through. So if anybody wants to sign up, they can contact us and we'll send them the links.
Right. And I'm already on your email list, so I'll see it in there.
Got it. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'd love to know, Hannah, like what's one top lesson or feeling that your clients walk away from after working with you and your team?
I would say honestly, and we kind of touched on it with, our Instagram reels, is the human touch. We have all this mortgage experience, but we're not just robots. We're not just a transaction. We really care about you and your success. So that human touch paired with that experience, I don't think you're going to find that anywhere else. So that's what they walk away with, that feeling of knowing that they're really looked after.
Yeah. And, Hannah would talk about the fact that we've had a bit of a conversation beforehand. And I love the Christmas cards or the birthday cards. And again, I always admire and I would love to start implementing things like that in my business because it's those things that give me the warm and fuzzies and things like that. So, and what I'm saying, folks, is snail mail. Right.
Yeah.
I get a card and it's just so nice to open. And actually I love anything that keeps me disconnected too. So you do a great job of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So before we go, how can people find out more about you? And maybe if you could like mention your website and a couple of platforms that they could start tuning in to learn more about you.
Well, there you go. So our website is mortgageswithhannah.ca. That's all the boring mortgage calculations and all that, mortgage calculators and all those things. But the fun reels are on the Hannah Stojnovsky Instagram page. All the reels and fun posts and stories. That's us, is over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, well, Hannah, thank you so much. I'm so honored that you said yes to being a guest. And for everyone who's watching, this replay will be available on LinkedIn. Please put into the comments and in the chats if you're watching it. Introduce yourself. Let Hannah know. Let me know who you are, what it is that you do. We'd love to connect with you here on LinkedIn. And I love to be efficient, effective. So the goal is to also get this up on YouTube as well, so that way we can reach more Hannah, and then everyone can hear Hannah's message more as well. And please, same things, like let us know what it is that you do. So Hannah, thank you so much for being on the show. And yeah, everyone, I will see you next week with another episode of Strategize Your Business Online. Thank you.